This man kidnapped and married a 12-year-old girl by telling her that aliens wanted them to be together. Our story really begins when married couple Marianne and Bob meet this crazy guy named Robert. They became really close. They were like family. Robert became like a second father to their 3 daughters, but he was particularly interested in their daughter Jan. Marianne and Bob thought it was weird and got bad vibes from how close Robert was to their daughter Jan, but they overlooked it because they were friends with Robert and they thought he was a cool guy. This was probably also overlooked because Jan's mother Marianne had a crush on Robert and was actually seduced by him. And around the same time, Marianne's husband Bob, Jan's father, was also seduced by Robert, so both of her parents are having an inappropriate relationship with the man that would go on to kidnap her. Jan was 12 years old in October 1974. Robert was supposed to take her horseback riding, but in reality, he gave her a substance to make her fall asleep and drove them to Mexico. And then Robert started putting together his plan on how he was going to manipulate 12-year-old Jan. When Jan woke up, she was confused, disoriented, she didn't know where she was, how she got there, and she was hearing this weird noise that told her it was a message from aliens. This message from aliens told Jan that she was half alien and she was actually tasked with a mission to save the alien planet that she was actually from. And this task was she would have to have a baby before she turned 16 with Robert. And if she failed, she would be vaporized along with her parents. Her one sister would go blind and the other sister would have to complete the mission. And then Jan sees Robert, who also looks like he's been knocked out. So she wakes him up and Robert tells her, we were driving to go ride horses and then there was a flash of light and a UFO and it was the last thing he remembered. And Jan is only 12 years old and she believes all of it. She 100% believes that she has to have a baby with Robert, an adult, who was like a second father to her. While in Mexico, under Mexico law, where the age of consent at the time was 12 years old, Robert and Jan got legally married. A little over a month after they first, disappeared, Robert was able to be tracked down and arrested, but not before telling Jan to not tell anyone about the aliens or the fact that they were married. Something I haven't told you yet is this entire time, Robert was actually already married to a woman named Gail. And since Robert's now arrested, he has his wife Gail blackmail Jan's parents into dropping the charges by threatening to expose the fact that both of her parents were having an inappropriate relationship with him. And since her father, Bob, was so embarrassed, they agreed to free the man that just kidnapped their 12-year-old daughter. But the bad parenting doesn't stop there. Jan is about 13 years old now. She still believes this alien mission that she has to have a baby with Robert, so she tries to convince her parents to let them be together. So Jan's mother goes to speak with Robert about this, but instead she sleeps with him. And she continued to sleep with the man that essayed and kidnapped her 12-year-old daughter for 8 months. Trying not to judge, but I am, because that's the most disgusting thing I've ever heard. Shortly after this, Robert kidnapped Jan again so they could run off and be together. And Jan's parents were so scared of being judged that their daughter has been kidnapped by the same man twice that they did not report it for 2 weeks. This time Jan was missing for a handful of months. Robert was eventually caught and arrested and sentenced to only 6 months in a mental facility. As Jan's 16th birthday grew closer, she was terrified that since she didn't have a baby with Robert, that all these awful things were going to happen. She was going to be vaporized. Her parents would also be vaporized. Her sister would go blind. But on her 16th birthday, when none of them happened, she realized that the entire thing was a lie. Jan is a grown woman now. She is really open about her story. She's forgiven her parents have forgiven themselves. Her mother even wrote a book. I'm really interested to hear all your guys' thoughts and just how much fault you think should lie on Jan's parents.